Hi everybody, I'm KHOU 11 Meteorologist Pat Cavlin here with a look at your forecast. A lot to talk about on this Monday afternoon, so let's get to it. Next cold front comes in for tomorrow. That will bring us the chance for a couple of isolated to scattered showers and storms. Most of us will stay dry, but a couple of us may be dodging some downpours by the evening. That is going to usher in some really big changes. I mean, the coldest air of the season so far. Also some gusty winds. That'll be for tomorrow night. Getting into Wednesday, that'll also set us up for a much chillier looking forecast as we get into Halloween. That's what's going on here at home. We've got another big important update coming up on Melissa and the impacts that we're going to see in Jamaica. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. First, though, we're going to start at home. Couple clouds out there. Otherwise, though, it is a beautiful day so far. Our next storm system is waiting in the wings for us here up across the Intermountain West. There's our storm system from the other night that brought us to severe weather. That's moving to the east. Our next one comes in. This will move in for tomorrow afternoon. The good news, there is no severe weather component with this. We're not expecting a tornado threat, a damaging wind threat, no hail, nothing. Maybe a clap or two of thunder. Otherwise, though, just a couple of showers. But the changes that come in behind this will be significant. So it's a shower chance for Tuesday. Gusty winds come in Tuesday night, sticking around through Wednesday. And then the coolest weather of the season works in behind this on those gusty winds for Tuesday night and Wednesday. And we could see some really chilly overnight temperatures here by the end of the week. Future track stays quiet the rest of today and tonight. Tomorrow morning, we start you off with a mix of sunshine and clouds, maybe more humidity, but that's going to be about it. We're dry to start. By the afternoon, just after lunchtime, 2, 3 o'clock, a couple of spotty showers may start to develop across the area. And again, maybe even a clap or two of thunder. This works towards the coast by the evening and then eventually offshore by 8 p.m. And then behind it, you get these gusty north winds that start to bring in some of that cooler weather, and that'll stick around getting into the end of the week. So look at the high temperatures tomorrow. Some of us could actually flirt with the upper 80s and low 90s. That's how much warmth is going to be ahead of this front. A lot of humidity as well. That's tomorrow afternoon. Once that front pushes through, watch how the numbers drop. The floor drops out on these numbers, and actual air temperatures by Wednesday, we could end up in the low 50s, maybe even a few upper 40s. So we're talking about almost a 40-degree temperature swing in some of these areas. And when you factor in that wind, we actually may have a wind chill with temperatures in the 40s by Wednesday morning. So definitely weather worth bundling up for, especially at the bus stops here for Wednesday. Wind gusts tomorrow evening, definitely worthy of securing any Halloween decorations. Keep that in mind. Halloween decorations, garbage cans, anything that's loose outside. We could see those gusts upwards of 30, 35 miles per hour once that initial front goes through. And then we just stay breezy. Getting into Wednesday, winds gusting upwards of 20, 25 miles per hour as we get you into the morning and in the afternoon. So that really will add to the fall feel across the area with those cooler temperatures. So there it is, 80 for your high temperature for today, upper 80s for tomorrow. And again, some of us could flirt with 90 before those showers and storms go through. And then we just drop like a rock. 68 for your high temperature. Your high temperature only in the 60s as we get you into Wednesday. And those overnight temperatures will stay cold as well. Look at the daytime highs. Again, we go from 87 tomorrow to 68 on Wednesday. 70 for Thursday, 72 for Friday, which is Halloween, mid-70s for Saturday, and then back closer to normal, upper 70s and low 80s as we get into the first half of next week. But check out the overnight temperatures, where we will go from the mid-60s for tonight, again ahead of that front with a little more humidity, to the upper 40s. The computer's not cooperating. To the upper 40s as we get you into the day on Wednesday morning. Give me 1 second here. Computer's locking up on us. This is the beauty of live TV, right? We're talking about some really chilly temperatures, though, once that front goes through. Try not to give everything away here. So again, it's just a big drop. It's going to be very fall-like feel for us here by the middle of the week. Wait for it. And there you go. So again, mid-60s for Tuesday. Sorry about that, folks. Mid-50s and Wednesday morning. 50 by Thursday morning, upper 40s by Friday morning. So some really chilly temperatures here, making it feel like fall. So that brings us to Halloween. For the afternoon on Halloween, which is Friday, high temperatures get to the low 70s, but at trick or treat time, those temperatures will be in the 50s and 60s. Okay, now we got to talk about the tropics. This is a major update. Just got this in. I haven't seen it yet. But as of 1 p.m., winds now 175 miles per hour. That's up 10 miles per hour from the 10 a.m. update. So this is an intense Category 5 hurricane. Pressure dropped another 2 millibars from 908 to 906. I bet we see that go even lower with the late afternoon update because this storm continues to intensify here. We still expect this to be a Category 5 storm at landfall tomorrow morning. So a very serious situation for Jamaica. This will actually likely end up being the strongest storm to ever impact the island of Jamaica, at least in recorded history. And again, landfall expected tomorrow morning. From there, we do a secondary landfall in Cuba, in the eastern tip of the island. After that, a third landfall here through the Turks and Caicos, and then potentially a fourth landfall as a weakening storm up in Bermuda by the end of the week. Here it is on Future Track. Tremendous amounts of rainfall here as moisture continues to get pushed on shore through Kingston and the eastern half of the island. But landfall with the worst of the wind happens in the western half of the island tomorrow morning. From there, the storm will continue that northward movement back over open water with its sights set on Cuba by Tuesday evening. So an intense situation here, a tremendous amount of rainfall and a lot of wind on the way as well. Let's take a look at some of these rainfall totals that we could see with this storm by the time it's all said and done. 30 inches. So 20 to 30 inches in some of those worst hit spots through Jamaica, but I could see a world in which we get locally up to 40 inches of rain through parts of the island, especially with those mountainous areas. Remember, as the rainstorms get pushed up on that terrain, we squeeze more and more of that moisture out. And so the topography of the island really playing a big role in some of these rain totals. And so landslides, mudslides going to be a huge concern. Wind gusts will be impressive. Not so much for Kingston. You'll probably see 50 to 70 mile per hour winds, but around that landfall point, easily gusts over 130 miles per hour. And where the absolute worst of it is right in the immediate landfall with the eye wall, we could see 160 to 180 mile per hour winds. That goes up towards Montego Bay, over 100 mile per hour gusts Tuesday morning. And then again, this moves back out over open water. So a devastating storm, unfortunately, on the way for Jamaica, potentially for Cuba as well. For the United States, the saving grace will be the cold front that's moving through our area. That front, which is so common to see this time of year with the tropics, will deflect Melissa away from the United States. And that's why the likelihood of seeing tropical impacts along the U.S. as we get into late October, early November, really starts to drop off because these cold fronts become more and more common. If you're traveling across the Northeast tomorrow, weather looks good. 50s and 60s with sunshine across the Northeast. Across the Southeast, a lot of cloud cover, maybe even a couple showers through the Carolinas. Temperatures cool. Again, 50s and 60s, 70s and 80s down through Florida. Cold front moving through Texas means windy weather from Amarillo through Midland. Temperatures dropping through the 50s and 60s. Beautiful for El Paso. Hot ahead of the front in the 80s and 90s. Showers and storms from Kansas City through Omaha. A couple showers through St. Louis as well. 50s ahead of the front in Chicago, Minneapolis, and Green Bay. And then windy conditions through the Dakotas. Across the Southwest, weather couldn't be better. Gorgeous weather, lots of sunshine from LA to San Francisco, Phoenix. Temperatures in the 70s at the coast, 80s and 90s through the desert, high desert, upper 50s, Denver, Salt Lake, low 50s with sunshine. And then finally, Pacific Northwest, windy conditions for Seattle. Otherwise, though, dry, sunny, and brisk through the Intermountain West with temperatures in the 40s. Here at home, 65 for tonight, warmer, muggier, mix of cloud cover out there, but should be dry. And then it's a couple of afternoon showers and storms for Tuesday, 87 as your high temperature. There's that 7-day forecast. Front goes through. It is cool. It is brisk. It is breezy for Wednesday, but it is sunny. 68 your high temperature. Down to 50 then on Thursday morning. Back to 70 by the afternoon, upper 40s then potentially in the city for Halloween morning. We get to 72 by the afternoon, trick-or-treat time, back to the 50s and 60s. And beautiful weather sticks around with temperatures moderating back to the 70s and 80s all the way into next weekend. That is a look at your forecast. Another deep dive coming up on this forecast and the latest on Melissa on the KHOU 11 News at 4 o'clock. See you then.